You're listening to From Imposter to Empowered. I'm your host, Jillian Perrick, life and success coach for boss babes who want to overcome imposter syndrome so they can be their best selves, both in life and in business. Follow me on Instagram at YourCoachJill for free content and daily inspo. Let's get started. Hey everybody. So today we're going to get right into it because I am batch recording these episodes and I don't have as much time as I thought that I did today. So I'm going to get right to it. And this episode is all about how people pleasing can affect confidence in your business. And yes, I'm talking about people pleasing when it comes to your friends, your family, your significant other, at your full-time job, how this all translates into your business. So I used to be recovering the best damn people pleaser that you have ever seen. So everybody came before me. I would ensure that if somebody had something that was going on that would interfere with something I was doing, I would make room for it. I would stretch myself so thin to a lot of times I would actually be super resentful about it. And here's where the people-pleasing tendencies came from. I have gone to therapy and done a lot of work around my worthiness. And what I noticed was that I was people-pleasing because I didn't want people to reject me or not love me because I wasn't accommodating to them. Because I grew up in a family where we all bent over backwards for each other, and I believed that that's what love is, which in a lot of cases it is. But I took it too literally in thinking that I wasn't worthy enough of somebody's love unless I was doing everything I could possibly do for them and doing nothing for myself. And this caused me to set basically no boundaries when it came to my energy or my time, because I would constantly be putting everybody else before me, and I thought that that was me showing my love. But when it wasn't reciprocated or when I didn't feel like it was appreciated by people who I was doing it for, I felt very resentful and extremely entitled. So this was just a really negative cycle to be in, because I was doing things for people for my own selfish reasons. I was bending over backwards for people because I wanted them to love me and because I wanted them to reciprocate. But you can't control other humans. You can't control their thoughts. You can't control their actions. So really, I was almost manipulating people, not actually, but I thought that I was able to control people and how they felt about me if I was just the best person, the most accommodating person for them, and I did everything I could to make them feel good and make them happy and make sure that they were all good. And this created me to be super resentful and really bad at setting boundaries. And I have some podcast episodes from the olden days, so last year, the year before. Actually, I think it was last year when I started my podcast. So I think they're from last year, but they're all about, I think the episode is why setting boundaries doesn't make you an asshole. So you should go and listen to that one because it's pretty funny. But essentially, you're setting boundaries for your own you're setting boundaries for your own time and energy. And when you're not setting boundaries, you're doing it out of selfishness, because when you try and bend over backwards for everybody, what you're really telling yourself is, I am not worthy enough to honor my time and my energy and my boundaries, and everybody else is more important than I am. And even though I think it's so important to prioritize relationships, if you have kids, I absolutely understand that your kids are your life, but if you put yourself on the back burner time and time again, it will teach you that what you want doesn't matter. And that because you're teaching yourself over and over again that your needs and your wants and your desires aren't enough to warrant any merit or meaning, that meant neither are you. You're not good enough. And this can be as simple as your friends being oh, what movie do you guys want to see? And you're oh, I don't care. You're being overly accommodating even though you really want to see a certain movie. it can be as simple as that. And then people start to learn that like you're either super accommodating, which is great, which is really nice. And if you don't care, then that's great. But really, like, you need to have some sort of opinion. You need to speak your mind, because then you'll notice that people are either going to walk all over you, or they're just going to assume that you're okay with everything. And then what happens is when you're having a really bad day, you could offload on that person. You could start to feel resentful. You could start to feel like, I do everything for everybody. If you ever had that feeling of, I'm such a good person to this person and they just walk all over me, it's because you teach them how to treat you. And it goes the same. It's the same thing for yourself. You teach yourself how to treat yourself. So if you are constantly putting your own needs on the back burner, then everybody else will too. And so when it comes to your business, you are probably going to have a really hard time talking about yourself. And you're going to really have a hard time because you're not going to feel good enough, because especially when you're first starting out, you're not making any money and you're not going to feel worthy enough. So you're also maybe not going to prioritize stuff in your business that you need to do if other people in your life don't understand. So for example, I'll be like, hey babe, I'm going to go in and record some podcast episodes, and he, for the most part, he stays like pretty quiet, and he ensures that like he's not making a whole shit ton of noise. So there have been times where he's made a ton of noise and I got really pissed off, because I took it as like he's not respecting the fact that I'm doing something that's for my business. And of course we had that talk and it's all good, but it's just an example of you need to set those boundaries, and you need to respect your own time and your own energy, because you are leading the way for how everyone else is going to treat you. Because if you're confident in your business and your mission and what you're doing, you're teaching other people to be confident in you as well. And that doesn't mean you need to fake it if it's not going well, if you're not making any money and you say like, oh yeah, I'm just like in the beginning stages of my business, this is what I'm doing, I'm really excited about it. Your energy and your excitement, other people see that. And again, it's gonna take some unlearning to not people please and not put your needs on the back burner. It's going to feel a little bit selfish sometimes, and you're going to wonder, is this what it's supposed to feel like? I feel like I'm not prioritizing my relationships, but it's just because you've spent so long putting everything else and everybody else before you that it feels unnatural to talk about yourself, to do things for yourself, to really like put yourself first, put you and your business first. And that's why I did this episode, because when it comes to people pleasing, like everything you do in your personal life will translate into your business as well, and people pleasing is one of them. If you are an over people pleaser when it comes to your clients, you're gonna get walked all over, and you really need to set those boundaries. And it starts by doing that in your personal life and with yourself as well. Honor your time, honor your energy, and honor the fact that like your needs and what you want. If you want to watch that fucking movie, you speak up at date night or with your friends. You say, I really want to see this movie. Obviously there's compromise when it comes to having relationships. I'm not saying you need to steamroll over everybody and be like, this is what I want and this is what we're gonna do, but don't take yourself out of the equation. Don't immediately cancel out what you want and what you need just to make sure that everything else is harmonious. There's no such thing as like a harmonious relationship. Everybody has their bumps and their bruises, and everybody has times where like you're gonna conflict with somebody else, but that's because people are usually just out for themselves and looking out for themselves. And if you don't do that for yourself as well, you are teaching other people how to treat you, and this will happen in your business as well. And you won't feel as confident, you won't feel like you're an expert, you won't feel like you know what you're talking about, because you're not really letting yourself and your business be enough or worthy enough. I hope that makes sense. A little bit of a ramble there, but Imposter syndrome is not just feeling like a fraud. It's directly associated to your worthiness and your enoughness. And it's your willingness to be seen and to be heard, knowing that not everybody is going to like it. Especially if you're like me, you're a people pleaser that like really afraid of rejection and really afraid of people not accepting me or loving me. And that was something that I needed to come to a realization with, is like, I need to not give a shit about the unfollows. I need to understand that not everybody in my personal life is going to understand what I'm doing in this online space, and doing it anyways, and showing up and talking about myself and my services and really being confident in who I am and what I'm doing, because again, your potential clients are seeing that energy and they are basically looking at you as somebody who can help them get the transformation that they want. Because like I've said before, you only need to be a couple steps ahead of somebody who you're helping. Everybody says that, who is an industry leader in the coaching world, and it is absolutely true. So don't people please this week. If there is something where you feel like, I really want to say something, or I really want to say what I want, but you think that not saying it is going to create more harmony, why don't you try saying it? Or why don't you try saying no to something that will take up a lot of your time this week, because you need to honor the commitments that you have made to yourself. You should definitely try it. So that's today's episode. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening to this episode of From Imposter to Empowered with me, Jillian Perrick, life and success coach for boss babes who want to overcome imposter syndrome. You can find me on Instagram at YourCoachJill, and for information on my services and any freebies, you can go to www.northernresolutions.com. See you next time.